right, so we're going to talk about BRCA1, BRCA2, BRCA1 and 2 genes, those genetics. All right, so many people, if I had to ask you really quickly, give me the answer, comment below. Does the BRCA1, they usually call it BRCA, BRCA, does the BRCA1, BRCA2 genes, do they cause cancer? Yes or no? Give you a little bit of time before you. Do they cause cancer? Because when you listen to it, oh, Angelina Jolie had the BRCA1 and 2 genes, the genetic predisposition for cancer. They didn't talk about what that cancer or that gene actually does. All they said is, oh, that predisposes you to cancer. Here's what happens. The BRCA1 and 2 genes are actually helpful genes in preventing cancer. But many people don't realize that. Those genes, though, are typically further out on the DNA strands. So they're damaged more easily. Typically in the chromosomes will be damaged. And mutations and damage to those genes, an improper or downregulated, methylated inability to express those genes, that is when cancer can arise. So you need to enhance the expression of the BRCA1 and 2 genes to survive this cancer. But Angelina Jolie, and my heart breaks for her, literally this is probably something that's messed up her life. Because watch, and patients deserve to know the truth. Watch this. So cancer experts laud. So they literally applauded Angelina Jolie's choice or decision to remove her ovaries. 2 years after a double mastectomy, actress Angelina Jolie has had her ovaries and fallopian tubes removed to avoid the risk of ovarian cancer, a move cancer experts describe. Cancer experts, you got to watch the media. Mainstream media says these people advising her and supporting her in this decision are cancer experts. Well, guess what? I'm more of an expert than they are. You want to know how? Because I'm going to read you the research, and I'm going to show you the facts. What does the research actually say about removing a prophylactic ovarectomy? Ovarectomy, which is the removal of a woman's ovaries to quote-unquote prevent cancer and causing immediate menopause at an early age. What does that do for the life of that woman? But doctors, supposedly experts in lies, as courageous and influential, she will influence, and she has influenced people. There's literally been reports that women, because of Angelina Jolie's, her stance, her actions, influence other women to go get that test. And then I watched a newlywed couple on mainstream media talking about having that test done, and then finding out the wife, the newlywed wife, had the BRCA1 and 2 genes. Because of having the genes that need to be expressed properly, which can be, the expression can be enhanced through nutritional regimens and supplements that I will talk about by the end of this show. Foods can increase the expression, undo the mutation, heal the DNA. They literally had the wife's breasts cut off. She had both her breasts, newlyweds, completely removed her breasts. Broke my heart to watch that because that's a bill of lies she's been sold. And doctors made money when all the research says that does not extend your life. That will actually shorten your life. After risk-reducing surgery of what? It doesn't reduce a risk of anything. It instills sooner death. But the benefits are unclear. And that's so funny. It's risk-reducing surgery. Patients are usually monitored, but the benefits are unclear. So experts are applauding Angelina Jolie, calling her courageous and influential for making a decision based on unknown benefits and unclear. Are you kidding me? And we call our doctors, our oncologists, and our cancer surgeons experts? An expert would have been like, you know what, there is no clear evidence. I wouldn't be the one stepping up to the front of the line for this procedure. But there was evidence. You want to know what the evidence? Here it is. NIH, National Institute of Health, public access, premature menopause or early menopause, long-term health consequences. So what will surgical, they talked about surgical removal of the ovaries, the practice of prophylactic oophorectomy, removing the ovaries, has increased over time, more than doubled from 1965 to 90. It doubled with zero. So what? Wait, this should boil your blood. Meanwhile, reports now linking induced menopause from the bilateral removal of the ovaries, serious health consequences, including premature death, cardiovascular, neurological diseases, osteoporosis, menopause, you removed her ovaries, she can't produce very much hormone anymore, psychiatric problems, and impaired sexual function. Okay, so we're going to cause you to die early. We're going to remove your ovaries. This is what experts should be saying, okay? And I want to know if you're going to pay me. I'm going to become a surgeon. I'm going to be an honest surgeon. I wonder how long I would actually keep my livelihood and be able to pay for my expensive Porsches and Lamborghinis and Teslas. I like Tesla. It's a pretty cool car. Anyways, but you guys get this. Like, think about this. Let me be an honest surgeon in this situation. All right, so we found out you have the BRCA 1 and 2 gene, which that gene actually is necessary for programmed cell death called apoptosis. Cellular apoptosis is there's a life cycle of all of the cells in your body, and they should die at a certain time. If they don't die like they should because of improper expression of the BRCA 1 and 2 genes, then the cells can grow out of control and not die, and then that's what we call cancer. So you need to enhance the expression of that gene. Now you can do that with eating things like organic soy. Ooh, I said soy. How many people are already like, oh my God, we can eat soy? Really? Yes, you can to prevent cancer. Just wait, not GMO soy. But then I'm gonna go, okay, so what I'm gonna do, because this is how I make my money, I have a knife. I don't teach nutrition. I have a knife, and I want to cut out your ovaries right now. So because of these genes, and those genes are actually good for you if they're expressed properly, and you can enhance the expression, but don't mind that right now, because who would want to actually eat nutritious food like vegetables and organic edamame, you know? Who would want to do that? No, or like turmeric and curry and, you know, a little black walnut. You know, stuff like that that actually helps you express proper genes. You don't want resveratrol, no way, from fruits, no. So you want a knife instead of eating a vegetable and plant-based diet. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to remove your ovaries, and as we do that, after that, you're going to go in immediate menopause. You and your husband, if you are married, your sexual life is just going to go gone, over with. It's going to be horrible there. You're going to have psychiatric problems, so your husband will probably think you're crazy. Most other people, but don't worry, I've got a partner in my other clinic that actually will sell you antidepressants, so you can get some of those. Don't worry about that. Menopause symptoms, we'll give you synthetic estrogen. We're going to give you horse urine. We'll get you that so you can have your estrogen. And then you're going to have osteoporosis, but don't worry, we got a drug called Boniva and some others that actually cause you to fracture your hips faster than not taking the drug, but we'll put you on those. So we'll take care of the osteoporosis. Then you have neurological disease. We don't really have, we might give you Neurontin and things like that. Again, more psychiatric drugs, but we don't really have anything that protects the nervous system, really. So we just kind of suppress it. And then we're going to have heart attacks and strokes, but don't worry, we got blood pressure meds. If you have a stroke, we've got long-term care facilities that can take care of you and make millions of dollars off of your Medicare and government subsidized insurances. And then premature death. That's the one we don't want to happen real soon. I know you're going to die a little bit sooner, and you're going to have to deal with all those problems, but don't worry, we're going to make millions on, I mean, we're going to take good care of you, and then you're going to die early, which that really stinks for us, because as soon as you die, then we make no more money. But I am going to make money now, and I'm going to make a lot more money on the fewer years you're going to have left here on this earth after I take out your ovaries. You ready to go? You ready to take your ovaries out? Okay, let's do this. Who would say yes to that? I'm sorry. Folks, this is the lies of our medical system. This is their own research. Every husband, see, I cannot control myself sometimes because my anger, frustration in this system is everyone should be doing what I'm doing. Our doctors are criminals if they're not reviewing the research and telling women the facts. And husbands should literally, I can't imagine being a husband watching this right now. I'm praying you continue to watch this, even though it may be literally frustrating. You may be pissed at me right now. You may be hating me for bringing this information to you now. The way I am, I understand the way I do it sometimes isn't exactly what everybody loves to hear in society right now. But imagine a husband finding this out after the fact of his marriage completely destroyed because of sexual problems in their marriage, because of psychiatric problems and health problems in their wife. Hopefully those fathers or those husbands lived on a biblical-based marriage and said, I'm doing whatever it takes. For sickness or in health, I'm going to be standing beside my wife. But guys, get this. Please don't let anybody do this. I will get them. I will go on phone and give them these studies, get this stuff to them so that they can make an informed decision before they have their before women have their body mutilated and destroyed by surgeons who won't share the truth. Senator Wright, he hoped that Julianne, so this goes back to the original article about Angelina Jolie. It would spark important discussions with doctors, that her influential decision would spark important discussions, improve access to risk-reducing surgery, access to something your research says will kill people. If you don't see it, it's clear now. They want money. Decision and one that should be made with good medical information. No one would make. If you get all of this information, you would see there is zero medical information supporting that. Estrogen therapy, oophorectomy at any age was associated with an increased risk of death, including coronary artery disease. So literally you take away from the woman her ability to have a good sexual life with her husband, to literally live a life of sanity sometimes. You remove that. You steal from her. You risk her dying early. You say, oh, risk reducing. You're not going to die of ovary cancer. You're not going to die of breast cancer because you don't have those organs anymore. Duh. You want to know how? So what I'm going to do, if they can do it, here's my deal. I'm doing a $1,000 procedure to prevent any male from ever dying of testicular cancer. It's called a really tight rubber band. It costs $1,000. I will prevent any man in this world from ever dying of testicular cancer. I'm now a medical physician. Y'all get it? Anybody laughing at that? No? Yeah? No? No? I mean, think about it. That's the same as what they're doing. A decision, and one that should be made with good medical. Lung cancer. So lung cancer, which is more deadly than ovary or breast cancer, will give you increased risk of that. Bilateral oophorectomy, or removal of ovaries, was increased. Hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, dyspareunia, weight gain, and loss of interest in sex. Significantly greater anxiety and depression, less positive well-being, more likely to be dissatisfied with their sex life and their partner's relationship, and Parkinson's disease. Great. That's all the things you're going to get out of. And cognitive impairment and dementia. Those are all the effects of this procedure. Survival patterns after removing ovaries in premenopausal women, a population-based cohort study. Approximately 300,000 women are thought to undergo prophylactic bilateral oophorectomy every year in the United States. Folks, I know some of you have watched it, the video about Kenya Catholic bishops and officials coming forward and saying that they're sterilizing women in that country. You think medicine isn't part of this big game and scheme? It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. I'm a conspiracy realist. Shirt coming soon. Why? Because literally, the evidence, watch this, the evidence, 300,000 women in the United States undergo a prophylactic ovarectomy, removing their ovaries every year in the United States. What does that do? It causes them to die sooner and not be able to have children. Risk of death was increased in women who had bilateral prophylactic ovaries removed before the age of 45 years of age. These women had an increased risk of estrogen-related cancer despite removing their ovaries. They also had an increased risk of death due to all other non-cancer causes, increases in cancer and increases in all other causes of death. This is like, holy cow. Are these morons? These people are morons. I'm sorry, I'm using a really bad word, I guess. Listen to this. However, the population, Anthony, zoom in on this so everybody can see. This is directly from this research study. However, the population of the Olmsted County is mainly middle class, well-educated, and has excellent access to medical care. Huh? So the women more likely to undergo this procedure had excellent access to medical care. Sadly, it wasn't access to excellent people, people who actually care about their lives, care about reading the research behind the procedures that they're doing. I'm a little fired up. Please give me a heart, people, just so I can feel some love right now, so I can understand that this type of information, is this value to be, I need some support, I need some encouragement, because sometimes it's literally, I feel like I'm in the trenches taking grenades. Granted, I feel horrible for even saying that, considering I live in a military town and they actually have to go through with that, God forbid. Folks, this is ridiculous. How many more instances do we have to watch the medical community commit crimes against our humanity, against human beings, for profits, without standing up as a society and a culture and demanding a change of their ways? Breast cancer risk after salpingo oophorectomies in healthy BRCA1 and 2 mutation carriers, revisiting the evidence for risk reduction. Conclusions in previous studies, a breast cancer risk reduction in BRCA1, BRCA2 gene mutation carriers may have been overestimated because of bias using a design they allied, a design that maximally eliminated bias. We found no evidence of protective effect. No evidence of protective effect. Inclusion of gene-to-gene and gene-environment interactions unlikely to dramatically improve risk prediction for complex diseases. A great little study was done in the Journal of Human Genetics in saying this, folks: the disease models generated a variety of statistical combinations of genetics and environmental factors, but none produced any marked improvement in predicting disease risk over lifestyle factors alone. That should empower everyone, folks. Everyone. You don't need to pay for expensive genetic tests. The genetic testing was not superior at predicting a woman or man's risk of cancer than lifestyle factors alone. You could look at lifestyle alone, because that, folks, one of the studies I had here. Where'd it go? I must not have printed it. Folks, they've done the research. We can change and alter the expression and heal our DNA. They've proven that. But yet that is not being implemented in cancer centers around the world right now to the degree that it should be. There are a few natural cancer treatment centers. Breast cancer basic and clinical research, modulation of the BRCA1, so controlling it, protein induction of apoptosis, that's cellular programmed cell death, triple negative. Breast cancer, which is one of the deadliest, triple negative breast cancer cell lines by polyphenolic compound in curcumin. We demonstrated that curcumin, or the active component, or one of the active components, which when you look at different studies, turmeric's whole root form, whole powder spice, turmeric, is superior to curcumin. But what medicine always tries to do with these clinical studies, what they try to do is they try to evaluate and find one single component, one molecule of a whole food plant-based or medicinal plant-based medicine. They try to find the one component so that they can make a drug with it, or make a drug synthetically that they can then patent, because you can't patent anything but cannabis. You didn't know cannabis was patented, didn't you? By the U.S. government. Okay, damage and apoptosis, triple negative breast cancer cells, but not. We demonstrated that curcumin or turmeric induced DNA damage and apoptosis. You would think curcumin, turmeric, causing DNA damage would be harmful, but listen. It caused DNA damage and apoptosis, programmed cell death of triple negative breast cancer cells, and not of the non-transformed mammary epithelial cell lines. Do you guys get this? Breast cancer cells and healthy mammary gland, breast cells. Cancer, breast cancer, healthy cells, breast cells. All in the same petri dish. Curcumin caused cancer cells to die, but not healthy cells. But what would chemo do in the same situation? It could kill both, or at least harm the healthy. But not. Non-transformed mammary epithelial cells, in addition, curcumin promotes phosphorylation, total expression, and cytoplasmic retention of the BRCA1 protein. It enhances proper expression of your genes. It kills cancer cells without damaging health. Kills cancer without damaging healthy. That's what people deserve. Resveratrol increases BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene mRNA expression in breast tumor cell lines. Modulation of the BRCA1 protein, induction of apoptosis. Whoops, I must have hit backwards there. In conclusion, the present study demonstrates that 30 micromoles of resveratrol can increase expression of the BRCA1 BRCA2 genes, oncosuppressors involved in the aggressiveness of human breast cancer cell lines. So literally, again, improving expression of genetic coding that would trigger healthy programmed cell death. BRCA1, BRCA2 genes as a molecular targets for phytochemicals indole 3-carbinol and genistein in breast and prostate cancer cells. These components of soy, healthy soy, not GMO soy, increase, zoom in on this, Anthony, they increase the expression from here to here. BRCA1 in black, BRCA2 in white. Significantly increase the expression of that gene by increasing the expression of those genes, which many people, if you ask the public, which I have, I've asked random people, does the BRCA1, do you know anything about breast cancer? Have you heard of the BRCA1, BRCA2 genes? Many will say, yes, I've heard of that because of Angelina Jolie and others. And then I ask them, does it cause cancer or does it protect against cancer? What do they say? They usually say, I think, doesn't it cause cancer? Our society is literally being lied to the point where people are then passing on lies or living their life believing a lie. We want these genes to express themselves properly. Again, expression increased by genistein, soy-based, healthy soy. Study on soy, isoflavones, consumption, the risk of breast cancer, survival. Many women are told not to. Even natural health community oftentimes will say don't eat soy because it has phytoestrogens. Plant-based estrogens or molecules resembling estrogen in the plant. Phyto, estrogen. But they don't trigger our cells. They may attach to our cells, but they don't trigger our cells like our human estrogen would. But there are chemical estrogens that cause an increased expression of cell growth that drive cancer. That's why, again, ovarectomy would reduce estrogen, but cancer would go higher. Estrogen-dominant cancer goes up by removing the ovaries, which suppresses natural production of the female estrogen. So, do you guys get this? Follow me here real quick. Let's do a little bit of discussion on this topic. Because so many women are convinced that, oh, you have an estrogen-dominant, estrogen-driven cancer, hormone-driven cancer. So the doctor says, see, your cancer is developing because of estrogen in your body. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove your ovaries so that your body doesn't produce any more estrogen, and that should stop feeding the cancer. That's what women are lied. That's the lie they're given. So they remove their ovaries. But estrogen-dominant cancers go higher. Why? Because our body would not produce something that would harm us. It's not our body in proper state of function and regulation. Women who are out of alignment in their pelvis and their lower back can have abnormal expression of estrogen production in their body because of nerve pressure and nerve interference. The brain can't communicate properly to those organs. You don't want overexpression and hormonal imbalances. You want your brain able to communicate to your ovaries. Get to a chiropractor if you're having hormonal problems. Let me give you one study specifically. There's actually a study in 1992 that says that posture affects and moderates all physiological function from breathing to hormonal production. Watch women go through multiple pregnancies, especially when they go through multiple. The head goes forward. They lose the curvature of the neck. They get tension in their upper back and their neck. They start to get those headaches in the back of their skull right here, and their posture goes like this because their belly enlarged and their chest enlarged. They were compensating for the weight being out front. That destroyed their posture, and the alignment of their spine is their posture. That's a window to the alignment of their spine. In evaluating posture, if we correct that, that takes tension and stress off their nervous system, allowing their hormone to be regulated properly, allowing them to go back into a healthy state of function, thus improving their sex life and their health, their future, their relationships, everything. But these doctors will convince women to have their ovaries removed by surgery because they have an estrogen-dominant cancer, but then it's the estrogen, the chemical estrogens and chemical estrogens in our environment sprayed on our foods like atrazine that is an aromatase enhancer that a chemical company owned by AstraZeneca, the founders of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October, they make a chemical called atrazine that's an aromatase enhancer that increases the production of estrogen in the female body out of control, thus driving cancer growth. Meanwhile, making tamoxifen, which is an aromatase inhibitor. They have a company that produces a chemical sprayed on our food that actually causes women to have an aromatase enhancement, producing more estrogen, while making a drug, a blockbuster, billion-dollar drug, that blocks the pathway their chemical sold by their company. You don't think it's a scheme? This is not a conspiracy theory, folks. It's a reality. I'm a realist. So survival function. So if you look at the graph really quickly here, you'll see that soy consumption, NATO, fermented soy, organic soy only is my recommendation. You can see less soy, less soy. The less soy they consumed. But you have to understand, too, there are other mechanisms, other problems, or contributing factors to women who would typically eat more soy. So women who eat more soy are typically edamame, fermented foods, those things. They're going to be driven towards more of a plant-based diet, which, again, is the diet that women need to be on in terms of fighting cancer. That is foundational. This goes back to one of the early studies that I talked about. Having an ovarectomy, or years, what age you were at, having your ovaries removed. Guess what? Ovarectomy, having your ovaries removed, compared to other women, what it do, if you were under the age of 45, a drastic increase. Mortality rate, survival rate here. Survival rate, percentage of survival, immediately women were dying from the procedure. Then soon after, they were dying from all those other health complications like more cancer, more strokes, more neurological diseases, suicide probably because of the antidepressant drugs that they were given for their psychiatric health problems because of that procedure. Folks, this is their own research. And I understand that many people will sit there and say, you know what, how do I trust a chiropractor? How do I trust a man who wears a hat and goes berserk? What do I stand to gain again by passing this information on to you, your family, your loved ones? I'm only getting passionate and upset about this because I don't understand why more people aren't. As a husband, as a father, I never want to see my children go without their mother. But literally women, mothers, grandmothers are being taken from this world because of an unnecessary and purely harmful procedure. That's 300,000 women per year in the United States undergoing this procedure that literally is destroying their health and killing them early. Please help me put a stop to that. Please share this information. If you're watching right now live on Facebook, share it again right now. Tag people that have ever had that procedure, that are thinking about having their organs, their breasts removed or their ovaries removed, share it with them right now. Tag them, type their name in, tag them in it, get them this information. Share it many times over. Get on YouTube when this is live. I'll have the segments for the first one of the woman who was forced or might be forced to vaccinate her children or serve jail time. And I'll have the one about Angelina Jolie's choices or the doctor's lies that she believed. She didn't make a choice in this situation because I guarantee you she was not given the right information to make a truly informed and educated decision, because I know she wouldn't if she was given the truth. We've got to get that to people. We've got to help people see a truth in our healthcare system that isn't pretty to look at. But we need to see the evil for what it is and what it's doing, and ask our doctors, the good ones in that system, to step out of that system and refuse to continue to harm people in this world for profits and money, and assist the drug companies in their corruption and their evil. If we can do that, we can make a change in this nation. We would make a change in the world if enough of us stand up, share the truth, speak out on the truth, educate ourselves on the truth, sit down with our loved ones, say, we're watching this whole thing because I love you and you deserve to know the truth. So you're going to sit down with me right now and watch The Wild Doc. That's what you're going to do with friends and family members. You're going to force them to listen to me. And go through it. Read all the information that I provided to you. Every one of these studies will be on The Wild Doc right underneath the video. Along with that, I'm going to give recommendations on things. Where would I get my healthy edamame? In fact, it comes from my sister's garden. My sister grows it, so I get it there. And we had seeds handed down for generations, originally coming from Japan. So from our family, so we've got heirloom seeds. I use black edamame. Why? And that's one of my recommendations, is black edamame. Why? Black soybeans, there's more phytochemicals in those that assist in antioxidant effects to help us gobble up free radicals to protect us against cancer and aging. So there's more nutritional basis typically when the darker and deeper colors are there in our foods. So that's why I choose to deal with that. Black rice, I'll give some recommendation. We'll be going through that in the future here. That is something that could help somebody with the HER2 gene expression in breast cancer. I've got a friend of mine right now, a dear friend of mine, a best friend of mine. If he's watching right now, he knows who it is. If his mom is watching right now, she knows who she is, who I'm talking about. His mom is diagnosed with HER2 cancer. And right now, doctors should be handing her every speck of information on nutritional changes she could do right now to enhance the expression. Proper expression, and heal that gene and beat that cancer naturally, because it is an aggressive cancer. It is a cancer that is not the best to get. If you had to choose between one, it's not one of the ones you'd want to get. And their drugs devastate and kill people by heart attack and strokes and cardiovascular disease, which kills them sooner. My heart goes out to them right now, and I'm going to do my best. That will be our next subject, where we're going to be talking about the HER2 gene and its improper expression, the development of cancer, and what every woman with that type of cancer needs to know right now and should have been handed as soon as she got that diagnosis. They should be handing her the nutritional and plant-based things that she could be doing on her own. The handbook, here it goes. You take this home, you implement these changes right now, because you could reverse this cancer before we even get your follow-up appointment done. We have a power within our bodies that is natural, it's inborn, it's ingrained in us to heal, to recover, to beat disease, to never get disease. We need to change our world, change our society, and get the information to the people necessary. Again, can soy phytoestrogens decrease DNA methylation? A straitjacket is DNA methylation of the BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes. Oncosuppressors unable to express the gene properly in breast cancer. And yes, the data suggests that genistein at micromoles can reverse DNA hypermethylation and restore expression of the oncosuppressor genes, oncocancer genes. Phenomenal stuff right there, people. Phenomenal stuff. Again, I'm telling you right now, do not, this study, even though it's retracted, I want to point that out. long-term toxicity of Roundup herbicide and Roundup tolerant genetically modified maize, corn, and soybean. Folks, it was retracted, but by pressure from Monsanto paying off the heads of the journal and the research team that published this study, and now it's been published by another research journal, they've won defamation claims. Literally, they've won 2 court cases against Monsanto and other people for trying to destroy their name because they independently did the research necessary to show how harmful genetically modified soybean, if consumed, was, especially when it was sprayed with Roundup. So that's not what I'm encouraging, just to be clear before we end tonight's show. So again, get this information to people. We'll be going through all October. You know, I'm going to be hammering the corruption cancer industry. The industry of corruption. That's what we need to start calling this. We're going to talk about the harms of things like prostate cancer screening and prostate cancer treatments. Folks, if I could literally say, one of the best books, I'll give a link. Again, links underneath. This is how you can support my cause and what I want to do for people out there. If I want to get the truth out there to people, it doesn't bring me that many people through my doors. But what it does is it brings the truth to the people who need it. All you got to do is click on the Amazon link at the top of the web page, the Wild Doc. You purchase anything through Amazon, I get a small percentage, pennies. But it does support me and my family and the ability for me to continue to preach and teach the truth. I'll give links to these books like this. This is Otis Webb Brawley, who is the Chief Medical and Scientific Officer and Executive Vice President of the American Cancer Society, as Professor of Hematology, Oncology, Medicine, and Epidemiology at the Emory University. He's a CNN consultant. That doesn't necessarily say a whole lot for him, CNN consultant, but anyways. But literally, in this book, How We Do Harm, you'll find out his truth, that he has said it, and he has preached it, and he's trying to get the word out there that PSA testing and prostate cancer treatments we use today kill men faster than doing nothing. And I'll be bringing you the plant-based protocols to be able to reverse improper gene expression to allow your body to literally beat things like prostate cancer and breast cancer. And I'm bringing it through the medical literature and research. So I'll be giving you links underneath the videos as well to the things like the black rice, the black soybeans, those foods, or other things like black walnut, curcumin, or turmeric, the things that I would take myself or give to my family. I'll give you links to those. And all you got to do, it doesn't cost you any more money. It only does, all it does is if you use our website, that enables us to make pennies on the dollar to be able to continue to preach the truth. I'll appreciate it if you guys all do that. Hey everybody, I'm the Wild Doc, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you hop on over to thewilddoc.com. Subscribe there for our newsletter and email campaign. Join in the conversation on Facebook, and let's transform the world by unleashing the power of natural healing.